Our presentation is on sleep and dreams. And my name is Gina Nicholson, and my partners are Tina Nicholson and Jennifer Salter. First, what is sleep? Sleep is a mysterious biological activity that is not completely understood. Research is still ongoing in the attempts to understand more about it. What is known about sleep is that it is a state of partial unconsciousness that a person can be roused from. Sleep is also a time in which some parts of the brain are more active than when awake, as the brain is performing activities that are necessary to life as well as necessary to quality of life. Sleep is a housekeeping time for the brain and the body. It's necessary for restoring physical and mental health. Sleep is an essential component for a healthy person, as it does help to heal the body and the mind. How does sleep work? Two things regulate sleep: the circadian rhythm and sleep drive. The circadian rhythm is an internal clock in the brain that runs a little over 24 hours and controls many things, including sleep. The circadian rhythm responds to light cues it receives from photoreceptors in the retina, which detect the amount of light or darkness around us. The light cues are interpreted by the suprachiasmatic nucleus in the hypothalamus. The SCN is the leader or the pacemaker of the circadian rhythm. The darkness or lack of light is what stimulates the production of the hormone melatonin from the pineal gland to be released into the bloodstream by passive diffusion. Melatonin is what makes the body go to sleep, or it's what causes you to get sleepy at night. Then, when daylight is detected by the photoreceptors, melatonin is inhibited and you wake up. The other thing that regulates sleep is your sleep drive. The sleep drive is basically the body's sleep-wake homeostasis. The sleep drive keeps track of your sleep, and this homeostatic sleep drive reminds the body of its need for sleep. It also controls the intensity. It does this by increasing the need or the drive for sleep each hour you're awake. Each hour you are awake, you become more tired as the body is trying to return to homeostasis. The longer you stay awake, the more intense your sleep drive becomes. The sleep drive is most influenced by the amount of light around us, whether it's daytime or nighttime. Sleep itself consists of 2 cycles that repeat 4 to 5 times nightly. There's non-REM sleep, which is non-rapid eye movement sleep, and then REM sleep. Non-REM sleep has 4 stages. The first stage occurs basically as you're just lying down, getting a little tired. It's when you're drowsy. Everything in the body, including the brain, starts to slow down. The second stage is a very light sleep when the body regulates the breathing and the heart rate, but everything else in the body slows down. The brain starts to have a little burst of activity during this stage. The third stage of sleep is moderate to deep. It's a non-REM sleep that makes the person feel rejuvenated, like they've rested. The breathing and the heart rate are at their slowest, and it is very difficult to wake someone during this time frame. The fourth stage of non-REM sleep is a deep sleep as well. The second cycle is a REM sleep. During REM sleep, you have rapid eye movement behind closed eyelids, active brain waves, just like when you're awake, increased respirations, increased heart rate, and blood pressure. The body becomes temporarily paralyzed as we dream due to the release of neurotransmitters GABA and glycine, and dreaming occurs during this cycle.
The true function of sleep is not fully understood, but even without fully understanding its function, the physiological and behavioral changes resulting from lack of sleep are observable. Sleep is when the body and brain can perform many different restorative functions needed to continue to function efficiently. Sleep is as necessary for human life as food and water, because without sleep, the body could not continue to operate properly. Sleep has many purposes, such as allowing the body and mind to repair themselves, releasing hormones, and allowing the brain to process new information and form new pathways. Short-term sleep deprivation can cause mild mental and physical cognitive deficits, but chronic sleep deprivation can increase the risk for many serious health problems. According to the brain plasticity theory, sleep is required for the brain to function and to repair itself. While sleeping, neurons within the brain can reorganize daily details to get rid of unnecessary information and declutter the brain. As part of that process, the brain transfers memories from the short-term memory bank to the long-term memory bank. The brain's lymphatic system works as a waste management system by using the drastically increased flow of cerebrospinal fluid to filter toxic byproducts that build up in the brain throughout the day. This only occurs while sleeping, and without the daily maintenance to the brain, it can lead to difficulty concentrating, poor motor function, and poor memory. While the body is sleeping, many different hormones and proteins that control the body are being monitored, released, and regulated. Hormones are chemical messengers released throughout the body's endocrine system and are necessary to regulate many processes, systems, and the functions. Of those hormones, insulin is produced by the pancreas and is responsible for helping the cells use sugar or glucose for energy, converting glucose into fat when needed, and to help regulate energy metabolism in cells. Carbohydrates are broken down by the body into glucose, which then enters the bloodstream and stimulates the pancreas to produce insulin. Without sleep, the body cannot make the necessary repairs to the cells and tissues, which then can eventually affect their ability to take up glucose, the body's primary source of energy. Another hormone is cortisol, released by the adrenal glands, a steroid hormone, and the primary hormone involved in the stress response, which also helps to maintain and restore homeostasis within our bodies after stress. Cortisol typically decreases while sleeping, which helps to regulate the stress throughout the day, as well as to help regulate metabolism and maintain healthy tissues. Sleep deprivation causes cortisol levels during stress to increase, and the elevated levels of cortisol can also make falling asleep more difficult. Cortisol also helps regulate blood pressure, blood sugar, suppress inflammation, and control metabolism. Therefore, maintaining steady levels is vital for maintaining homeostasis. Continuing to have altered levels of insulin and cortisol can lead to an increased risk for metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance, and type 2 diabetes. The less physical demand on the body while sleeping also allows the body to make repairs to tissues and blood vessels, which helps keep the immune system operating optimally so the body can heal wounds, inflammation, and damaged muscles more effectively. The pituitary gland releases growth hormone, also called somatotropin, in pulse surges during sleep, which is essential in helping to maintain the metabolism, tissue homeostasis, growth, and repairs. The cells that make up our tissues are constantly being replaced due to daily damage, age, and inflammation, as well as trauma. Growth hormone stimulates protein synthesis and also increases fat breakdown to provide the necessary energy for tissue growth. Additionally, when growth hormone levels rise while sleeping, this stimulates collagen production to be made, and collagen proteins help strengthen, repair, and replace damaged skin cells within the body. Going without adequate sleep can affect the growth hormone levels within the body to increase the risk of poor bone density, reduced muscle mass, thin and dry skin, immune deficiency, fatigue, and increased body fat. The body's immune system also relies on sleep to function correctly, and lack of sleep can leave the body unable to fight off the infection or inflammation properly. During sleep, the body produces proteins called cytokines, which fight inflammation, infection, and trauma, along with other antibodies and immune cells. When you're sick, your body also needs even more cytokines, immune cells, and sleep. Over time, sleep deprivation suppresses the immune system, leaves the body susceptible to infection, and increases the risk for inflammatory disorders, high blood pressure, and heart disease. Sleep is as necessary as a part of human life that gives the brain and body the time it needs to repair itself, re-energize, and restore what is lost throughout the day, as well as for memory consolidation. Sleep deficiency can lead to many health issues that affect the cells, the tissues, and organs in the entire human brain and body. Even though the exact purpose of sleep is not fully understood, the fact remains that sleep is vital to good health and life. Sleep is essential for maintaining homeostasis within the body, maintaining good health, and maintaining human life.
So we get to the question of what are dreams? And dreams are a very confusing aspect of sleep. As my group members have already mentioned in previous slides, there are a lot of things going on in the involvement with sleep and the process of going to sleep, all of those great things. While we think that sleeping is not really a complicated process, and maybe everything is at rest, our brain is still functioning, and dreams are actually a function of the brain. Dreams occur throughout our sleep and mostly during the REM stage, which again is the rapid eye movement stage, where brain activity blood pressure and heart rate is increased, and also you will have eye movement, more eye movement when the eye is closed. And dreaming is highly likely related to the complex neurochemical mixture of serotonin, norepinephrine, and histamine, where they are present, but yet having that abundance of acetylcholine and dopamine is what help us dream. Also, dreaming is activated through electrical and chemical activities, such as the neurons communicating from cell to cell to transmit information to our brains. And as you can see here on the right, there is a diagram explaining the dreaming brain, the 4 parts that pretty much make up what dreams are. So as you can see, the most important thing is the limbic system. This is the primitive part where memories and emotions are stored. The biggest thing that will be the biggest contributor to dreaming will be your hippocampus, and this is due to its association with memory. And then the amygdala will be responsible for the emotions, and it takes information from your senses and then reacts in a way that is appropriate. And statistics show that about half of all dreams have some correlation to something that you may have processed or memorized throughout the day while you were awake. The next part is your motor cortex, which is dealing with your emotion, and your pons, which is paralysis, and then your prefrontal cortex, which involves in amnesia and irrationality. And we have dreams because they are instant replays. Pretty much they are recent events, and they can be reviewed and analyzed in a form of distorted instant replay. It's also good for building memory. Consolidation of memory suggests dreaming serves important cognitive functions that will be able to strengthen memory and your ability to recall information. Incidental brain activities are basically the byproduct of sleep, and they don't really have any purpose or meaning. They're just incidental. Processing emotions, we are able to engage with our emotions that may be portrayed differently to help manage emotions. And also with mental housekeeping, it's kind of clearing up any unnecessary information that you might have. And do dreams serve a purpose? So there's still a lot of ongoing research exactly what dreams purpose serve, because there are things of like, well, maybe you dream this way because you had a bad dream because you were thinking bad, or just all of these certain different circumstances. The main function that I found basically was its biological function, which is simply just an evolution theory that dreaming is to stimulate fight or flight responses and how the brain would react to those. And that will conclude our presentation over sleep and dreams, as well as here are all of our references, and we hope you enjoyed our presentation. Thank you.